Last Sunday, our first Sunday of Lent, we looked at the whole temptation of the devil to Jesus, and we talked about how just as Satan tempted Jesus, he tempts us as well. And he tempts us to sin, and sin is something that draws us away from Christ. It drags us down, and the devil will do anything he can to get us far away from Jesus. And we talked about how the beginning of our Lenten journey is when we look to Jesus and say, Lord, help me to see the tricks and the lies out there that he is trying to get me to do. Help me to avoid falling to those temptations and remain close to you. And our whole Lenten journey, everything we do, is surrounding that. Today, we see what is the result of doing that. When we avoid sin, when we turn closer to the Lord, what do we receive? Transfiguration. As happened to Jesus today when he showed Peter, James, and John a hint of the glory that would be his after the resurrection, showing them his glory and listening to the voice of the Father reveal himself to them so that it would strengthen them during the scandal of the cross as they were going up to Jerusalem and what was going to take place there. And Jesus' transfiguration is a hint of our own as well. If we remain faithful to the Lord, then on the last day when Jesus returns in glory, we will be glorified, just as Jesus won. A perfect soul living in a perfect body in the perfect new creation. And that's the result of remaining faithful to the Lord. And we have the standard tripod that we use every year for Lent: prayer, fasting, and abstinence. And of course, we increase our prayer, and I think anybody can very easily see how praying brings us closer to the Lord. Fasting, not only the true fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, but all the things we give up, the abstinence, everything we do during our Lenten journey to deny ourselves things so that we remember to keep ourselves close to God. And then the third is almsgiving, reaching out to the poor. And we all, I think, can appreciate, we've all had moments where we've seen that little transfiguration take place in our lives. For example, imagine you have a friend of yours comes to you and says, hey, you know, I have a big project to do, and I'm really stuck. I really need help. I've got to get it done in time. Can you help me out? And maybe you go and you spend a whole day with them doing everything they need you to do. And at the end of the day, they turn to you and say, oh, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you. You're a lifesaver. Can we feel good about ourselves? That good feeling is a little bit of a transfiguration. That makes us feel so much better than so many of the other pleasures that we might look to bring us happiness. That sense of, I was of help to someone else. And that's what almsgiving is meant to make us do, and why we highlight it, especially during our Lenten journey. Well, today we have an opportunity right here at Mass to practice that almsgiving. And that is, today we have the opportunity to make as generous a gift as we can to the Cardinal's annual stewardship appeal, which, you know, we've been taking up since the end of January now. And we do it every year, and many of you are well familiar with it and have participated every year with it. Some of you maybe are brand new and are not quite sure what the appeal is. Well, pretty much all parishes all over the world actually do take up an appeal like this. Father Benjamin was telling me, yeah, his bishop does it in his parish, even back in Ghana. And it's a way of raising money to help take care especially of the poor and of the charitable situations that we as Christians would be remiss if we were not providing. And so the Cardinal's Appeal every year is our opportunity to help the poor. And sometimes people have said to me, you know, Father, I really wish I knew somebody who was a poor family. I would help them out. Financially, the Lord has graced me. I have financial means, and I feel bad for a family who doesn't have them. I just don't know any family. And that's probably absolutely true. Because if somebody is in need, they're probably not going to come and ring your doorbell or call you on the phone, but they do come to us at the rectory. They come to the church. And when they do, and they say they're in need of help, we can send them to Catholic Charities, which is one of the major recipients of monies raised in the Cardinal's Appeal, so that they can sit with them and not only give them the immediate help they may need, but also they'll look at their whole life situation and see if there's something they can do to make them self-sufficient, so that they're no longer looking for handouts. Maybe they need to find a job or whatever it may be, something to stabilize them. And that's a tremendous job that they do. And somebody once, some years back, said to me, like we do the giving tree every year, and we raise money for foreign countries and things like that. We've raised it for Ghana and Guatemala and many other places here. And somebody once said to me, Father, it's great that we're reaching out to people all over the world, but what are we doing for the people right here at home to help them? And I said to him, the Cardinal's Appeal. This is what we do to help the people here at home. And it is the most important charitable collection we take of every year to help not only Catholic charities, but many of the other things that rely on the money that we raise in order to be able to provide the services that they do. And sometimes I've heard people give excuses as to why they feel they exempt themselves from giving, because they say, I'm not giving to the Cardinal's Appeal because, and they'll name one thing or another. And I would agree with them if those reasons were true, but unfortunately they're not true. And so I think it's helpful to reassure you and let you know exactly where the money from the appeal, first of all, does not go. Not a penny raised in the Cardinal's Appeal is being spent paying off sexual abuse settlement cases. Not 1 cent from the Cardinal's Appeal goes towards that. It's also not just paying salaries for people downtown, and it's not being used for the Cardinal to buy new vestments for himself or new carpet for his office, all different things I've heard people say over the years. No, all of the money from this goes purely to charities right here at home. As I already mentioned, Catholic charities, one of the biggest recipients of our generosity. But other things as well, our struggling parishes, especially in immigrant areas in the city. Some of our poorer parishes that, because they're immigrant people without a great income, there's no way they could ever be able to provide everything they need to keep their parish open. And without our generous support to them, the parishes would have to be shuttered, and they would end up going elsewhere, probably to other religions even. So our support of the Cardinal's Appeal helps us keep those parishes open and support them as they struggle to try to provide for the services of the people that they have there. Also providing for our schools, our religion programs, and that very much need our assistance to try to reach our young people and bring them the faith. Training our future priests. St. Joseph's Seminary receives a good bit of money from the Cardinal's Appeal to help make sure that the doors are open to train the priests that will be here, God willing, that we'll have plenty of them to serve us in the future. And our retired priests and religious, those who have given their whole lives in service to us in the church. Once they're retired, then we don't just say to them, okay, well, thanks for your work, now go out and take care of yourself. But we take care of them with a place for them to live and their medical needs as well. And in fact, Father Pat, before he passed away, was receiving that. He went and lived in one of our homes for retired priests where he received the attention he needed. So he benefited generously from what you offered. And so today is our opportunity to make the most generous gift we possibly can. And I'd ask everyone to pray before the Lord and say, Lord, what is my proper gift back to you and to the poor for all you've given to me? Our goal this year has not changed from last year. It's the same goal, $132,900. And so far, we have pledged $65,665, which is 49% of goal. So we're pretty much halfway there, which is very good. That comes from 98 families in the parish, and the average gift people are giving is $667 as the average per family. So we're doing very well. And I know we will make the goal. Every year that I've been your pastor, we have made goal. Our first year, though, it took us till October to make goal. And then last year it was May. Now I'm looking to April and saying maybe we can make goal by Easter, which gives us a full month now to make the other 50% that we need. And I know many of you have already made your gift, and I thank you for that. Some of you, if you made a gift last year, you've got that envelope sitting in your mail at home, with a pile of things to do, and I'm sure it's there saying, oh yeah, it's one of the things I have to get to eventually. I'd ask if you would be so kind as even today when you go home, find that envelope and fill it out now and send it in. Remember, you don't have to give the money now. All you have to do is make the pledge. Tell us how much money you will give eventually. You can make the pledge now and pay it in October if you need to wait for that. We also encourage to break it up over 5 months rather than simply a one-time gift, which is what I do with mine. I put it on a credit card and I give over the course of 5 months, so I can give a much larger gift in total than I could ever do by writing out a check at just one time. But anything we can do to try to reach out and make sure we're taking care of the poor, which is our duty before the Lord, and we'd be remiss as Christians if we did not do that. But if you have not received a letter at home, here's your opportunity here today. Or even if you do have the one at home and you want to do it here anyway, you may do that as well. As you came in, you were given an envelope by one of the greeters. If you did not receive one, just raise your hand and we'll make sure you get one. And we're going to take a minute or two now just to fill out the envelopes and make your pledge now if you have yet to make one. Just fill it out. Remember, you can put it on a credit card or write a check. You don't have to give us the check or anything. You can just make the pledge and pay it later. But if you would take just a few moments now, for the envelopes, again, if you need one, raise your hand. We'll give you one. And then there are pencils in the pews. Fill them out. And when you finish, just hold it up, and the greeters will come and take them from you. And while we're doing that, Pat will play a little music for us. And I begged her, please, not to play Take Our Bread.